What's up guys, it's Jay with Bearded Dad Fishing, and Old Town crushed it with the new PDL and ePDL Plus 120 Pro. But like with everything, there's room to make it even better, so I'm sharing with you guys my top mods to level this kayak up. But first, dad joke of the day, why do bees have sticky hair? Because they use honeycombs. And that dad joke is brought to us by Eric Potier of the Facebook group Kayak Fishing Dads. If you're not part of the group, head on over there and join the conversation. Now, all the mods we're gonna go over works on the PDL 120 Pro and the ePDL Plus 120 Pro. So no matter what version you have, all of these will get you covered. Now, my first mod actually addresses one of my biggest complaints about this kayak, and it's the lack of deck padding. So now I have a custom deck kit on this kayak, and as you can see, I have my logo engraved right on the back. Now this deck kit does a lot of different things. First and foremost is it dampens the noise in your kayak. If you're banging stuff around in your crate, or you're standing up, or you're moving around, it makes a lot of noise, especially if you drop something or you hit something. So this dampens that noise. It also adds a wow factor. You know you paid a lot of money for this kayak, so you want it to look as cool as possible. This is a way to do that, make it look cool, and customize it in a way that makes it truly your own, because these deck kits come in different color combinations and different patterns. Of course, you can put your own custom logo in it as well. Installing it was incredibly easy. The hardest part was just getting the adhesive off from the existing deck pad. Originally, it just came with these small deck pads right here. None of this existed. None of this existed, so it makes a huge difference in the appearance and the functionality of this kayak. This custom deck kit is from Great Bay Outfitters out of New Jersey, so I'll put all their information down below so you can reach out. But they make these deck kits not just for the PDL 120 Pros, but also the other models of Old Town and other manufacturers as well. One of the changes Old Town brought to the 120 Pros are the seat sliding system. So the way you adjust your seat is totally different on this kayak. Now it's on seat tracks so that you can adjust your footing or your seating really easily by twisting these knobs to hold in place and sliding your chair front and back. Now the downside of that is the fact that these rails sit lower than the rest of the kayak, and there's no way to drain water once it gets into it. So I was coming back from fishing trips and having a ton of water back here just collecting on this track and in this general area. And after doing that for a long bit, I guarantee you're gonna get rust in there, and nobody wants that. So naturally, Nick from Navarre Kayak Fishing found a solution rather quickly. So he made these seat track risers, and it's essentially starboard that is under these tracks and lifts it up so that when water does collect in there, because there's no way to get rid of that water, it won't sit on the tracks, therefore causing you rust issues later on. Installing them is incredibly easy. It's just a matter of taking the tracks out and then putting the risers in. It uses the exact screw holes, the reinforced holes, everything's the same. He even includes the hardware with the longer screws. So if you have one of the 120 Pro models, I highly recommend this mod so that you avoid any rust issues later on. And our next mod is geared more towards the ePDL, but if you have a PDL that you're looking to motorize, then this mod works great too, and that's upgrading the battery for the ePDL Plus. As you know, the ePDL version comes with a 36 volt 20 amp hour battery. Again, 20 amp hours gets you plenty of juice, but if you're looking to run tournaments or run full 10-12 hour days on level 4 or 5 on your motorized settings, then it's not gonna last you all day. So you're gonna wanna upgrade your power supply. What I have here is a 36 volt 45 amp hour smart battery from Lead Time Lithium. I've used Lead Time at years for this point, powering my autopilot as well as my electronics and even my Newport 24 volt motor. Now this battery of course is bigger than the standard version, so to give you a comparison, you're talking about a pretty big jump in size. This fits nicely in the compartment right behind the seat that Old Town provides, but the good thing about this new upgraded seat is that you can fit a big battery like this one right underneath of it. You have plenty of space to wire it under the seat, and it's even close to where you're gonna plug it in to power your motor anyways. With this upgrade from Lead Time, you don't just get double the capacity, you also get Bluetooth monitoring. So because it's a smart battery, you can monitor it on your phone, you can check the levels, you can check how long it is so it's fully charged. You can check how much juice you have until you run out when you're out on the water. And you can even check on the health of the battery right through the app. The Lead Time app is incredibly easy to use, to set up. I have 4 batteries on there currently, and I can monitor their power, their progress, their charging, all on the same app. Again, even if you just have a PDL, but you're looking to power it up, check into Lead Time. They have lots of 12 volt, 24 volt, and 36 volt options that are a lot cheaper than a lot of the other name brands. And if you decide to upgrade your power, make sure you get the appropriate charger as well. Now, this is the 43.8 volt 10 amp charger from Lead Time. And being that it's a 10 amp charger, it means it's incredibly fast. If this battery was completely drained, it'd only take 4.5 hours to completely charge it. So make sure you get a fast charger as well. And I'm gonna link everything we're talking about down below in the description so you guys can check it out. And the next mod you're gonna wanna look into for both the PDL and ePDL 120 Pro is the rudder pin replacement by Nick over at Navarre Kayak Fishing. Again, Nick comes up with some genius solutions for big problems, small problems. When Old Town made this kayak, they didn't change the rudder system, which again, wasn't a huge fan of because I've had to make other changes on both my autopilot and on my PDL 120. And one of those changes is simply changing out the rudder pin for the Rudder Bolt by Navarre Kayak Fishing. It's incredibly easy to change it out. You're just pulling out this pin that comes factory stock and you're replacing it with the Rudder Bolt. Nick sells it for about $5 on his website. And what it does is it essentially allows the rudder to hold the position better instead of just flopping around willy-nilly with the current, with a little bit of wind or whatever. And that's one of the downsides a lot of people experience with this rudder system, is that with a little bit of wind or as soon as your kayak moves, this thing turns. But with that rudder bolt in there, it's a lot less likely to turn. It'll actually hold you on a straight track. And the next upgrade is great for any kayak, regardless of the make or manufacturer, and that's a Yak Power relay switch. Now, this Yak Power switch allows you to control all the electronics on your kayak with a simple remote control that you can keep right next to you. It essentially groups together all your electronics to one battery, and you can turn them on and off as you will just by pressing a button. You can power your lights, your phone chargers, USB chargers, your fish finders, anything you could think of, you can power through this system easily. And Yak Power makes it simple with their system builder as well. You just go on their website and it allows you to pick what options you want from each group. And on top of that, it gives you a 10% or so discount on your entire build. I have a couple of videos that I'll link down below showing the full install of this kayak with the Yak Power system. If you're running a lot of electronics or you plan to, this is the best and easiest way to keep it organized, neat, and efficient without having to have a bunch of different batteries. And when you order on Yak Power, make sure you use code BDF5 for 5% off your entire order. And surprise, surprise, our next upgrade is also from Nick over at Navarre Kayak Fishing. And this is the rudder steering knob from Nick. And all it does is it replaces the existing knob that's right here on the rudder system and gives you a larger footprint to work with while you're steering, making it easier to steer. And the knob itself is prone to breaking, so this replaces it with something a little bit sturdier. And again, it's super inexpensive and makes a big difference when you're out there for long days steering this kayak. You also may have noticed some vinyl stickers, including this one right here, which is the Kayak Fishing Dads logo. Kayak Fishing Dads has a bunch of merch available that's affordable and looks pretty cool. We got tackle boxes, stickers, lure wraps, tow flags, all sorts of stuff, which I'll link down below so you guys can check it out. The next mod is the big one that I recommend every kayak owner does to their kayak pretty quickly after buying it, and that's adding a Keel Guard to the kayak. So I added this Keel Guard because it protects the kayaks from bumps and bruises and scrapes. Because the thing is, if your kayak takes a big hit, chances are it's gonna be right on this keel, and you think it's nice and thick and it's gonna last long, but you'll be surprised at how quickly this thing can wear down, especially when you're ramming it on launches, on concrete, against a lot of stumps and things like that. It's just plastic, so it wears down. So this Keel Guard, again, is from Nick at Navarre Kayak Fishing. It comes already pre-molded. It comes with the marine goop and with the instructions of how to install it, and it's incredibly easy to install. However, if you want to make your own, I have a video which I'll link down below on how to make your own Keel Guard if you don't want want to buy the pre-made one already. Even making your own is relatively easy, but the amount of protection it offers you by far outweighs any expense in buying a Keel Guard. And the next mod I have on this kayak is the PDL Spacers, again from the homie Nick at Navarre Kayak Fishing. Just so you know, this video is not sponsored by Nick. I just like to buy his stuff because he has really good stuff. I had it on my PDL 120, on my autopilot, and for this kayak as well. He has a lot of great things. These are PDL spacers that just make sure that your alignment is on point with your kayak, because if the spacer's not here, you have this gap of about 1.5 inches on either side, where if you're not aligned, the seal to this kayak doesn't sit aligned. You get a bunch of water coming up through your drive hole, and it just pedals real sloppily. So these spacers just prohibit it from moving around, from getting off center, and keeps it all centered up perfectly with your drive hole. And it's something that you just put on there and you forget it even exists. And the last mod for the PDL and ePDL Plus 120 Pro is this stern motor mount. If you're looking to motorize your kayak and you're not doing a bow mounted motor, or you want to supplement your ePDL drive, then you need to get a stern motor mount for a stern mounted trolling motor. Now you might be asking yourself, why do you need a motor mount when you have the 4-hole pattern here and you even have one underneath here? The thing is that if you were to put your motor just on here, it's going to be canted to the side at about a 15 to 20 degree angle, so it won't be straight with the kayak. So what this motor mount from Navarre Kayak Fishing does is it offsets the mount. So instead of being here at an angle, it's here straight ahead, so that way this motor goes straight with the kayak. It's still offset, but it's straight, so that way you don't have to steer it, or you could just have it in a fixed position like I did on my PDL 120. So let me know down below what your favorite mod is for this kayak, and if you thought this video was helpful, subscribe to the channel and check out this video right here. So till next time guys, peace and God bless.